So, a brief note that I know these are happening very late in the month, and normally I would not do that. Except for the fact that, it just took me a while to work out moving all my stuff to YouTube and having them as videos. So, these are coming out pretty late in the month, but they're all gonna be Halloween episodes. So, I hope you guys enjoy them. I'll be uploading this first one on the 27th, and I actually have 4 episodes. So, I think I'm just gonna upload one a day until the 31st. And we're gonna make that work. I think that'd be pretty good. I think 4 Halloween episodes is good. So without further ado, this first one is just gonna be on a general one. It's gonna be about different movies and music I like, specifically horror movies, because I really like horror movies. I love horror as a genre. And I'm also gonna talk about you know what? No, I think I'll save that for a later episode. So this first one is just gonna be about the movies and the music I like for this season that just make me very happy for Halloween. So yeah, this will be that. And for those of you guys who are new, this is Route 76. Jack. I'm 20 years old. I use its pronouns. And yeah, this is just my podcast. It's usually more music focused, but this is just gonna be kind of ADHD rambling about my favorite stuff. So hope you enjoy. Alright, so given that this is technically a music podcast, I should probably start with my favorite Halloween season songs. What do you want? Anyways, all-time favorite, number 1, is Werewolves of London by Warren Zevon, which is just such a goofy fucking song, but it is so good. Definitely my favorite spooky season song. Oh, let me think. There's some Michael Jackson ones in there that I just like to listen to around this season because they got they got the sound. They got the sound for the season, baby. What else is there? Oh, Sugar. Somebody's watching me. Oh, fucking shit, what's it called? I've been listening to this song on repeat, and now I can't remember what it's called. I also really anything Will Wood during this season. I just like anything Will Wood. He's officially one of my favorite artists now. Yeah, Somebody's Watching Me by Rockwell. Yeah, that's a great song. Obviously Spooky Scary Skeletons, Monster Mash. Not gonna lie, a couple of Blue Oyster Cult songs hit around now. Sometimes I just listen to my old emo playlists because I'm depressed, and those are really good for this holiday season. What else is there? I don't know. I don't know that I listen to that much that's different around Halloweenish times. So maybe that's why I don't have much to say on it. Pop. I don't know. A lot of the songs that I listen to around now also have some of the really cool sounding parts, if you will. The I think I've talked about this before, but in a lot of songs there's the one part, and it's I'll enjoy the whole song, but there's that one part that every time it's just oh yes. Somebody's Watching Me has that. It's the one part where it's but why do I always feel like I'm in the Twilight Zone, and does it feel the Twilight Zone part? That part smacks. It does. It's such a good part. What else is there? No idea. Alright. Oh, big fan of, first of all, the entirety of Werewolves of London is just so good. It's such an amazing song. I love it. But the one part where it's the fucking What's it called? It's like you better stay away from him. He'll rip your lungs out, Jim. I'd like to meet his tailor. I don't know why that part scratch brain good. It does. Obviously, Wellwood music. Scratch brain, very good. Very, very good. Yes. Wellwood music, scratch brain, extra good. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's just like a lot of those like spooky sounding songs have the good brain scratching sounds. It's very nice. I love having my brain scratched during the spooky season. Especially because, like, I watch horror movies, and I love horror movies, to be clear. But, like, there's parts in a lot of them that just do not scratch the brain very well. And actually tend to, like, make my brain uncomfortable. It's one of those things where I will purposefully make my brain uncomfortable watching horror movies. Because that's the point to me, is to make my brain very uncomfortable. But, like, after I'm done with that, yeah. I kind of just wanted my brain scratched good. It's nice. I like having my brain scratched. So, you know, what the fuck do you want? Me? What the fuck? Okay. Anyways. Sorry, I got distracted. I got a text, from my coworker. So, yeah. On horror movies I watch to make my brain uncomfortable and make me uncomfortable. I want them to, like, reverse scratch my brain. Horror TV shows, I'm doing, like, a separate episode for that, because, like, The Haunting of Hill House and The Haunting of Bly Manor are, like, two of my favorite shows. Haunting of Bly Manor, I'm obsessed with. I'm in love with. Jamie Taylor, I have a huge crush on her. For obvious reasons. What the fuck? She is so hot. She is so hot. Oh my god. What's the actress's name who plays her? Whatever. Her voice is so attractive. I have such a thing for voices. I say as if this is an old podcast about how I'm obsessed with different music. Like, yeah, no shit, I like voices. Babe. But yeah, I'll be doing an episode on, like, the Haunting of series, and that's gonna be a more psychologically focused episode, because I think that's a very interesting concept to just go into the psychology of those two shows, because they are so fucking fascinating. I'm gonna do another episode on the new Chucky show, because I just started watching that. And first of all, nobody told me that the scene of Chucky, you know, saying, well, I have a queer kid, and gender fluid, it's somehow even funnier in context than it was out of context. Like, I did not expect that. You know, usually things are funnier out of context. Like, that is what it is. Nope. It was even funnier in context. With the context, it was even better. That's for another time. So, when we get to that. Oh, let's think. So now we're getting into horror movies. So, super biased. My favorite is Misery, the Stephen King movie. I think that's, like, one of the best movies I've ever fucking seen. Definitely my favorite horror movie. Second favorite easily is Silence of the Lambs. And then I think maybe a little bit controversial, but my third favorite is The Shining. Which I know is not accurate to the books or whatever, but it's a good movie. Like, it's an entertaining movie. Like, yeah, sure, it sucks as book adaptation. It's a good movie, though. Like, it's fun. I had fun with it. Oh my god, I'm gonna get into Misery, because I finished my yearly rewatch of it, and it was just as good as it was last time. And just as good, just as amazing. Literally such a beautiful movie. It's one of those things where it's like, with both that and Silence of the Lambs, I'm just like, oh, I know that they're villainizing a mentally ill character, and that's not good. And it's even funnier that it's funny to me anyways, that Annie Wilkes in Misery is supposed to have bipolar, and I'm just sitting here with my own bipolar watching this like, yeah, I actually kind of got that reaction. Like when she got him in the paper and he was like, oh, well, it's not the right paper. She was like, okay, you ungrateful bitch. And no, I was like, I get it. I'd be pissed too. I was just like, okay, I know it's not right. I know they're trying to portray her as like some crazy bitch. But like, homegirl had to drive her ass all the way into town to get that paper. And this man didn't even have like, all this man had for her was, well, it's not the right paper. Like, no, I'd be pissed. I'd fucking snap on his ass. Of course, I'm also bipolar, so, you know, maybe that has something to do with it. Who knows? Oh my god, it's such a good movie. It's such a good movie. I also think it's very funny that she was a nurse and I'm going into nursing. It's like, wow, bipolar nurses, we really are twins. Oh, and I posted a picture from the movie on my Facebook. And I pretty much just have my family on Facebook because, like, I don't need anyone finding me on there. Anyone on here, right? So, I posted a picture when I was doing my yearly Misery rewatch on Facebook. And it was of her. It was a picture of her. And my mother asked if it was me. My mother asked if that was a picture of me, and I was like, no, that's from a movie. That's from a movie. So that was fun. That was interesting, for sure. So I don't know, maybe I am Annie Wilkes. Who knows at this point? I think that was very funny though. God, I just have so many thoughts on Misery. And it's still one of those movies that makes me uncomfortable to watch, despite being like an absolutely beautiful movie. And the majority of it is very enjoyable. First of all, unrelated to that part, the sheriff and his wife were the highlight of that movie. They were so funny. Like, that was just so funny to me, like, throughout the entire movie. Comedic gold, it really was. So, but the part, you know, where I do watch horror movies to make myself uncomfortable in a way. And, with that one, usually it's not the gore. Usually, you know, the violent parts are not the parts that make me uncomfortable or whatever. With that one, yeah, the scene of her, like, breaking his ankles. Yeah, that's it. That's the part. That is, like, the big part that makes me uncomfortable. Like, I really do. I love that movie so much. Just as a movie, not even as, like, a horror movie. But that is the part that, like, is really solidifies how it can make me uncomfortable. I hated that scene so much. The first time I watched it, the last time I watched it, that scene, I can feel it. It's so gross. Oh my god. The Silence of the Lambs is obviously transphobic. But, I'm giving it a pass to be transphobic because I was watching it and you know, one of the things that people point out with that movie is the eyes. And I had this conversation with the Werewolf Discord server the one time. One thing people point out with that movie is the eyes and the you know. It's the eyes, and like, you know, his stare is. I'm sorry, I keep getting distracted, but his stare is supposedly like unsettling or like unnerving in a way. And you know, I remember watching it. I was watching with my dad, and I was like, I don't really get it. Like, he's not that unnerving. It's not that unsettling. My dad just sort of looked over at me, and he was like, well, yeah, you kind of look at people like that sometimes. I was like, oh, okay. And then I found out that Sir Anthony Hopkins, who plays Hannibal Lecter in the movie, is autistic. So I think maybe, I was talking to my friend Randy, who was on the second episode of this podcast when we talked about Woodward. And we both came to the agreement that it's just funny to watch those kind of movies and see the stuff that is like freaky to neurotypical people and just be like, haha, that's an autism thing. Me and the homies just look at each other like that because that is just how we look. So it's very interesting to watch that one. Obviously transphobic though. Obviously transphobic. I mean, so obviously transphobic. Oh my god. Oh, I hated that, you know. Well, Buffalo Bill, she thinks she's a transsexual, but she's not. No, she's a fucking woman. She is a valid trans woman, and I believe in her. Yeah. No, but like, honestly, if some random dude were to sit there and be like, well, you're not a woman because I know what a real woman, what a real transsexual would look like. Yeah, I'd go on a murder spree too. What? And first of all, I don't know if you, how many of y'all are trans and have just like had to interact with cis people, but like doing that on like a daily basis? No, I get it. Like, I get why we're going after him. I understand her logic, her reasoning, and I think she's beautiful and stunning, and they were very rude to her, so she was justified, and hopefully she has now been able to transition and live her best life, despite, you know, being in prison, because, you know, she murdered people, which wasn't really her fault. I blame Hannibal. Oh my god. That was such a good movie. It was such a good movie, even if it was transphobic. I don't know. What's her face in that movie? What's her face, you know? Who played the BI agent, Clarice Starling, I think it was? What's her face? I don't even remember her name. I think it's Jodie Foster. I'm 93% sure. No, I'm like 83% sure. Whatever. I'm watching that movie. Well, parts of that movie. I was not allowed to watch that entire movie. You know, back when I was a kid. You know, my parents wanted to expose me to cross-dressing. They were like, maybe not the serial killer. We'll just show the kid Mrs. Doubtfire. That'll definitely keep it from becoming a tranny. It didn't work. But, you know, I guess like parts of it when it was on, or like when my parents were watching it. Especially with my dad. My dad's always been a big horror buff in our household. So him and I get to connect over that a lot, which is really fun. It's fun to have some things in common with your dad. I'm gonna be honest. Like, sometimes it's nice to be there and be like, oh, whack, I actually have things in common with my dad. Like, we actually like things? What the fuck? Also, I'm gonna apologize now for my singing earlier in this episode. I'm sorry you had to hear it. I know I'm not a very good singer. I try not to do it too much. I'll do it for like examples. Like as I was trying to, give examples from the songs I was talking about and the parts that like scratched the brain, but I know it's not very good, so sorry about that. Anyways, back to what I was talking about. What was I talking about? Oh god. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, it's nice to have things in common with my dad. Music is obviously one of the things I have in common with my dad. He was the inspiration behind the name Route 76. It was his graduation year from high school in 1976. He was the class song was Free Bird by Leonard Skynyrd, which is actually a pretty good song, despite, Leonard Skynyrd. Yeah. But, yeah. Anyways, I'd catch glimpses of it when my dad would watch it when I was younger, and I think I've always said that Winona Ryder was my gay awakening. I think it was actually Jodie Foster. When I was a little kid, and my dad would watch Silence of the Lambs, and it would just be on the TV, and I'd just be like, oh. And now I don't like pigs because I'm normal, so yeah, like ACAB and shit. But I was little, I didn't fucking know that, right? I actually hadn't really even like interacted with cops at that point. I think my one interaction with cops as a kid was when they pulled my dad over. Like, our school would have him around, like, with the dogs and stuff, but that was pretty rare, and I don't think it would have been before I'd seen that movie, or before my dad got pulled over either, so I think that movie and my dad getting pulled over were like my two early life exposure experiences to cops, which is a very interesting combination. And the third favorite I said already was The Shining. After this, I'm going to go into horror movies that just suck, by the way. And also compare them to horror movies in a similar vein that are, like, really good. So we'll get there. So The Shining is my third favorite horror movie, like, ever. Which is very interesting because apparently it's a horrendous book adaptation. Especially compared to, like, Misery. Which, oh my god, Misery. Okay, sorry, I can't stop thinking about it. Anyways. But I think The Shining was a fucking great movie. Oh my god. Also, like, I get to quote it. And what's better, All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. I get to quote that anytime I don't want to do stuff. It's great. Let's see, what else is there? Oh no, it was a good movie. It's just one of those movies that I enjoyed. I don't really have a lot of thoughts on, though. I don't have a ton of thoughts and opinions to share on that one. I just kind of liked it. I have a lot more opinions on, like, the TV shows as far as, like, horror goes. Like Hill House and Bly Manor. You guys are going to hear a lot of my opinions on those, too. And, like, just the psychological shit with that. Especially because, like, in order to get into nursing school, rather, you have to take so many, psych credits, so I'm actually doing, lifespan development right now, which is one of my favorite, like, things. It's one of my special interests, actually, is just, like, the psychology of the development over the lifespan, and, I feel like Hill House and Bly Manor just bring two very different perspectives to that I really want to get into. So, I'm gonna apply a little of my education to it. Or use it to further my education, who knows? but I do not like entirely too much about that. So I have a lot of opinions on that one. My number one opinion is that Freud is an idiot. Also, I know like Erikson really isn't much better, but I actually like his opinion. Oh, okay. His opinion on the, lifespan development a lot more than Freud's, especially because it really desexualizes Freud's bullshit. It's kind of still has the issue of like focusing on male lifespan development, which is like the big issues with Freud's too, but it doesn't make it so that everything is sex. Right? It doesn't. Freud is such an idiot. Oh my god. He's just such an idiot. Oh, I hate him. Anyways, what else was it? What was I talking about? I think I was talking about The Shining and how I don't have opinions on it, and then I went into my little Hill House Bly Manor thing, right? Bow. So let's get into horror movies I hate. I also have a lot that I'm like a huge fan of, but like just for fun. Like with Misery, The Shining, Silence of the Lambs, there is something there to dissect and look at. But like I like slashers a lot. I think they're fun. I think they're neat. Especially like oh my god, The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. One of my favorite movies. I just love it. Like, I know it's a slasher. I know it's like, whatever. It's not technically all that great, but it's so good. I love that movie so much. Okay. Anyways. Anyways, now that I've covered that, I really like slashers. I like the Friday the 13th movies. My dad and I were just watching the second one the other day, I believe. Obviously a huge fan of Halloween. I've only ever seen the original. I should probably watch more. And I don't really know which way to watch them in, so we'll see. I'm gonna try and find something on that. Okay, now with movies I don't like. Oh my god. This took a minute. So, number one, Midsummer. Sorry. So, number one is Midsummer. Because it was so boring. It was just boring. It wasn't even scary. Like, that was the first ever horror movie, and I'm putting quotations around that, by the way, that I ever saw. And I went to sleep like a little baby afterwards. I was just like, that was not scary. Like, first of all, it's not like this is something that's just like reasonably gonna happen to me. It's not like this is just like some situation I could somehow find myself in, or it could ever reasonably get to me. Because first of all, I live in the suburbs of Ohio. Ohio. Who's in Ohio anyways? What the fuck? I won't even tell you which area of Ohio, but like, oh, my mic's running wet. But like, seriously, like, also, if I was invited to my friend's Midsummer Festival in Sweden, I'm gonna be honest, I simply would not go. Because first of all, I probably don't have that kind of money. Probably don't have that kind of money sitting around to just go to Sweden for fucking summer. Because who does? Oh, what, were they only there for a couple weeks? Either way, who has that kind of money, dude? No, like, also, I'm not gonna lie, I would not have relied on them for transportation or leave. Like, rip to Simon and whatever his girlfriend's name was, but I'm not about to do that. What the fuck? Like, what the fuck? Like, it's just so stupid. And here's the thing. Hereditary was legitimately scary. But not because of the cult part. The cult wasn't the scary part. Like, they showed us this Midsummer shit. And I was like, yeah, no shit. Like, a remote, like, isolated fucking, what was it? Like a goddamn commune? Like a remote, isolated commune of white people in Sweden. Of course it's a cult. Of course it's a cult. Like, how are you not... There was no surprise to this. Obviously it was a cult. Oh my god. Like, yeah, small isolated groups of white people are usually cults. I don't know how to tell you that. Especially if it's just white people. Like, what? Are you stupid? Are you stupid? And Hereditary was scary, but that was because they had, like, actual horror movie elements in it. Like, what? And here's the thing, even, like, if our main character had been, you know, non-white and not just, like, some random sad character who... So, like, within the main grouping of characters, you know, even, like, even if we decide to include, like, these British characters, it's a primarily white group, and the one singular black character they have, he got caught stealing from them and then murdered for that. So, like, I'm not black, I'm indigenous, so I don't want to step on too many toes here, but it doesn't feel like the kind of storyline they should have put in there, especially with their main cast being white. Like, it felt weird. I don't know. I'm not gonna say like it's inherently racist or say anything too strongly, but it just felt weird. And I really don't want to step on too many people's toes, like I said. Cause like, yeah, not black, not my place to say, but it was a very interesting decision that was made, I suppose. And that's my whole perspective on that one. That's all I'll say. But also, all the non-white characters end up dead. Who's surprised, really? Like, wow, white people are racist, white people are in cults. We knew this. But like, here's the thing. Even if the main character was black, or indigenous, or non-white, it still wouldn't have been a good movie. It still wouldn't have, because there was no suspicion. Like, the main character was not even a little sus. The main character was just like, oh, this seems normal. I was like, are you fucking stupid? Like, here's the thing. In movies where, like, yeah, the white people are murderers, and, like, a cult sort of thing, and the main character was black, like, you can Get Out, per se, a wonderful movie that I loved. Shocker. The main character, the non-white main character, was suspicious, like, the whole movie. Like, we all would be. Because it is not ingrained in non-white people to just trust that kind of stuff. I'm sorry, it's not. Like, we have not been raised in a society where we can just trust these small groups of, like, rich white people, or, like, an all-white commune. like, no, that would immediately be setting off alarm bells in our heads. Like, any person of color, any non-white person. Like, it's so unrealistic, and it's just so boring. Like, it was so slow-paced. The only decent scene that I kind of liked was the at a stupa scene, And honestly, I just liked it because it was blood. Like, I just like gore. It wasn't even like an actually good scene, and it didn't make sense in the story. I was just watching it for the gore at that point. And I was like, finally blood, and then that was it. Up until the blood eagle scene, which, by the way, I used to hyper focus on like different torture methods because we all do things. But blood eagle is one of my favorites. So I did like that scene. I appreciated seeing it. But that was it. Like, that really wasn't a good movie. Man. And I think that's like really one of the few horror movies I'd say I didn't like. And I don't know if I would even count it as horror. Because it was legitimately just so unscary. Nightmare on Elm Street, I actually didn't really care for. That was mostly just because it bored me. And like, I don't know, I just wasn't into it when I watched it. And then I've never tried watching it again, so. This kind of just turned into me roasting Midsummer. Which is going to be a totally separate episode, but I don't have time for that. So we're just doing it here. We're just doing it here. Ooh. Okay, what else do we... Oh, I feel like there's other horror movies that I haven't liked. Isn't there? I'm trying to think of them. There has to be. Midsummer cannot be the only horror movie I didn't like. Okay, well, it's the only one I can think of right now. Actually, since I brought up Get Out, can we talk about Us? Because, oh my god. That was just an amazing movie. I think one of the most iconic scenes of anything ever was the fuck the police scene in that movie. It was so funny. Oh, I really love that movie. I really love movies just roasting. I love movies that just really roast the fuck out of white people. And that one wasn't even like their main primary point. Just happened to be like a side plot. It was a good movie. It was an amazing movie. I mean, oh my god. Oh my god. Yeah. Oh, that was so good. I don't know. I think I like Get Out a little more. Like, just a little more. That one did have, like... So here's the thing. I love horror movies. Do terrible with jump scares, though. Don't know why. I'm just so bad with jump scares. But, there wasn't even, like, any actual jump scares in Get Out. It was, they had, like, a note play at the one point. And, it scared me. And it made me jump. And that was it. That was, like, the one jump scare. And I almost pissed my pants. I really am just, like, such a baby when it comes to that kind of stuff. I'm so bad with jump scares. It makes no sense that I love horror movies. Especially that I like slashers as much as I do. Because I really like slashers. I think they're just such a fun genre. Oh, no. I also don't really, like, get the separation of, like, thriller versus horror. Because, like... In a good movie that's intended to be scary, there's going to be a mix of what is considered classically thriller and classically horror. Right? Like, the thrillers are supposed to be psychologically terrifying. Like, yeah, I want to see them getting psychologically wrecked. I want to see their psyche just slowly getting destroyed and falling apart on them. I do. I love it. But, like, also, like, from a classic, like, horror standpoint, there's just, like, I don't know, I don't think, how do I put this? Okay. I don't think you can have just, like, a normal horror movie, like there are. Like, you know, like a slasher, like anything with all the blood and gore, without having, like, a bit of psychological shit too. Like, they don't exist in a void from each other. Like, granted, you know, the like psychological horror, thriller, whatever bullshit can stand on its own, but like, you can't have like something with all that like blood and gore and violence without, and make it a good movie without considering that it's like also going to affect the characters psychologically, and it's going to psychologically terrorize them as well. So essentially the twos do not exist in a void, no matter what, you know, genre they're in or whatever. Genres are just like weird ass labels. I don't like them. They just seek to put, I suppose, a label on everything. Just like, I don't know. It feels very unnecessary. I don't like it. And I'm just not a fan. I don't know. That's just me. Maybe that's just me. Maybe it's just me. But yeah, big fan of all things scary, despite the fact that I'm a big scaredy cat. Okay, I think I'm winding down with this one. I'm just so rambling at this point. Just kind of what most of these turn into is rambling. For the last, like, the first ever, like, solo episode I did, it was, you know, my intro episode. And I was talking about, like, Springsteen and just, like, what the podcast would be. So obviously that one was super scripted out, but, like, the Queen one wasn't. I had a good old to no script. This one obviously isn't. I'm just rambling about stuff I like. And I think I like this a little better than, like, the scripted out one I had. Because, like, that's just not me. That's just not how I am. I don't talk like that. I don't know. So, this will be the first episode that goes up. I'll probably have it up sometime tonight, hopefully. If not, I'll just post 2 tomorrow. We'll see. So, yeah, I think that's all for this episode. Definitely would say, for your horror playlists, put Werewolves of London on there. Such a good song. I don't know. Yeah. So, thanks for tuning into this episode. Next one will hopefully be up the day after this one, because that's how we're doing our spooky season episodes, I guess. Sorry I didn't do these earlier. It took me so long to figure out moving them to YouTube and getting all that set up and taking them off of the, like, streaming services, because this is just a lot easier for me. It's all in one place. I only have to do it one time. So took me a while though. I didn't quite have it figured out right away. So that's why this is a little late. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Anyways, and I will be popping the link tree both in the bio of the YouTube channel, and I will pop it in the description thing of this video. So yeah, leave some feedback. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you like, don't like. If you maybe want me to be a little more focused when I do these, I can work on that, I promise. Yeah. Take care. I hope you all have a beautiful rest of your day. I'm going to edit this and then work on some more episodes. So yeah, have a good one.